You wanted to talk about the aftermath of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and the
Hmm.
responses by the left and the right, something like that, didn't you?
I want to talk about the responsibilities of the left and the right, but also that includes, of course, the responses of
Well,
the left and the
okay.
right. Because I've been happy with some, and I've been upset with others, and just angry with others, and surprised happily with others as well. It's kind
Uh,
of all over the map.
well, I'll ask you and Josh, who we can't see his handsome face on here right now, but he's on here with us. Um, I'll read you something from Ezra Klein, who's quite, quite much the liberal, the leftist. So just
He's a
bear
good
with me.
representative of the left right now. I like him.
I mean, I think so. Um, you can dislike much of what Kirk believed, and the following statement is still true. Charlie Kirk was practicing politics in exactly the right way. He was showing up to campuses and talking with anyone who would talk to him. He was one of the era's most effective practitioners of persuasion. When the left thought its hold on the hearts and minds of college students was nearly absolute, Charlie Kirk showed up again and again to break it. Slowly, then all at once, he did. College age voters shifted sharply to the right in the 2024 election. This was not all of Charlie Kirk's doing, but he was central to laying the groundwork for it. I did not know Charlie Kirk, and I am not the right person to eulogize him, but I envy what he built. A taste for disagreement is a virtue in a democracy. Liberalism could use more of his moxie and fearlessness. In the inaugural episode of his podcast, Governor Gavin Newsom of California hosted Charlie Kirk, admitting his son was a huge fan. What a testament to Kirk's project. Kirk and I, he's quoting Governor Governor Newsom now. Kirk and I were on different sides of most political arguments. We were on the same side on the continued possibility of American politics. It is supposed to be an argument, not a war. It is supposed to be one with words, not ended through bullets. I wanted Kirk to be safe for his sake, but I also wanted him to be safe for mine and for the sake of our larger shared project. The same is true for Josh Shapiro, for Hoffman, for Hortman, for Thompson, for Trump, for Pelosi, for Whitmer. We are all safe, or none of us are. And
Well said.
I thought that was really well done.
Yes, very well said. Ezra Klein is a he's an interesting guy. I think his whole abundance agenda thing was interesting when he was talking about that. I think he's kind of got that Anna Kasparian route of, you know what, really don't care what the rest of the left says. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to grow, and if that means I accept some more quote unquote right wing or conservative things into my overall view, so be it. And I think that's admirable for sure.
I don't think the left is ever going. I don't think the hard left is ever going to be down with the abundance agenda, because the hard left needs too many, community focus groups and and virtue hoops that you have to jump through. Like in the piece that I sent you, the from Klein, excuse me, from Mike Solana on the abundance agenda, he very clearly states he brings up icons of American industry, and he says these people built things. He brings up Franklin Roosevelt and shows what Roosevelt built using power, using absolute power, as close to a dictator as we've ever had in this country. He was elected to 4 terms, served 3 consecutive terms, landslide victories and all, with a gargantuan majority in both the House and the Senate, a wartime president who the country completely rallied around during the war from Pearl Harbor Day on, and it's antithetical to the new progressives for people to just come in and build things and do things. In the piece that Solana wrote, he said, I want to get on a bullet train and ride from one coast to another, and go to the dining car and have drinks with strangers. But the problem is, we'll never build it. We don't. all of the regulations and things that progressives in the cities that they run put up, all the barriers they put up to building things and getting things done, rules, regulations, community meetings, etc. Before anything, that San Francisco spent a $1.7 million to build a toilet, and
Don't even
so
talk about the California rail line that goes from what Bakersfield to Merced. I mean,
yeah.
it's just a cliche at this point to make fun
So
of
you
how
can make
bad
the argument,
regulation is when
yeah.
it
I
comes to
mean, you can
trains.
make the right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You can make the
Okay.
argument that yes, you need to build things, but to be able to build things, you have to be able to steamroll a lot of stuff that the left isn't willing to give up. They're just not.
Well, and also, I think the whole progressive narrative falls apart if you accept abundance agenda things. Because, for one, people kind of need to just need you, right? You can't really have success, I think, for the progressive narrative to take off, right? People just always kind of have to want and need handouts, I think. And if we have too successful of a country, too many successful businesses, that's just antithetical to that. I don't know. I'm just coming up with that in the moment, but it seems true.
Oh,
Um,
it is true.
yeah, but yeah, that stuff's interesting. I don't know a lot about it, but I liked hearing Ezra Klein talk about it. He was in some interviews that were really good, and I like that there's lefties coming around to say, "Hey, look, regulation can be bad. It does a lot of bad things. It keeps monopolies in place. It keeps innovation down. A lot of things that hurt this country." So
It
yeah,
keeps
but
NGOs in business where people who claim to want to stop homelessness are the ones profiting, not the homeless people.
I'm one of those people. Up until just a few years ago, I didn't realize the real problems of homelessness. And I was always saying, oh, there's just not enough money there. There's not enough money there. And then, with the help mostly of Michael Schellenberger in reading San Francisco and some other research, that's just not the case. There's plenty of money there. It's going to organizations that are just using it to make their organizations continue to exist and continue to pay people that want to keep their jobs. It doesn't
Yeah,
make the problem go away at all. They're not putting the money where it needs to go. There's enough money to cure homelessness
22
right now.
billion.
Yeah.
California has spent $22 billion in a single decade to end
Insane. That's
homelessness.
so much money.
And
That's so much
homelessness
money.
has gotten worse. It's There's all kinds of things to compare it to. I mean, on the top of my mind, I would compare it to the Department of Education, where test scores and education has dramatically decreased as the federal government's involvement with it has increased via the Department of Education. So, throwing money,
This is a whole we're getting off on so many tangents.
we really are.
But I'm curious where you put public sector unions, teachers' unions
I think
versus
they should
just
be outlawed.
government policy.
I think
I
they should.
agree too. That's another thing I didn't think 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't think that. I do now. They just
They,
the incentive structure is just there to support the employees and not the students.
yeah,
100%, it's there to give teachers what they want, and people are just self-interested. It's just the way that it is. When you realize that, it writes itself that there should be no public sector unions